Hi, I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
Good morning again, everyone. And a shout out to everybody who tunes in and watches us online. So there are these two guys, an old guy, a young guy, and they're pushing their carts through Walmart, and they accidentally collide. And the old guy says, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I was looking for my wife, and I guess I wasn't paying attention to where I was going." And the young guy said, "Oh, that's okay. It must be a coincidence because I'm looking for my wife too, and I can't find her. I'm just getting a little bit desperate." And the old guy says, "Well, maybe I can help you find her. What does she look like?" And the young guy says, "Well, she's 27 years old. She's tall. She has red hair, beautiful blue eyes. She's buxom. She has long legs, and she's wearing short shorts. What does your wife look like?" And the old guy says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's look for yours." And so, okay. All right, not bad, not bad. Little birthday sympathy applause. I'll take it. I'll take it. So how many people here have at least one thing in your life that you would like to go better than it's currently going? And how many people have ever felt the frustration of having a particular goal or some achievement or something you wanted to happen in your life and it just wasn't happening? Anybody have that? And how many people know, even when life isn't going as well as you'd like, that there is still hope for more happiness, more success, and more joy in your life? And so my question for you is, where does that knowledge of knowing that there's more hope, that there's a better life, and there are greater possibilities come from? Think about that. Where do this belief and knowing that there is more, that there is greater, and there is more happiness and possibilities for your life come from? Is it that someone taught it to you? Someone told you? Is it that you thought about it? Or would you say that there is something deeper within you that absolutely knows it? I believe that hope, that belief that there are greater things possible for us than what we're currently experiencing, is a part of our absolute nature. It is a part of our spirit. It is a part of our soul. There is an inner knowing, regardless of what the conditions are like in our life, that knows that there is something better, that there's something greater. And to give you an example of how powerful hope is in our lives, let's think about when we don't have it. How many people ever lost their hope? Anybody ever lost hope? And when we lose hope, sometimes we don't feel like moving forward. You know, when we lose our hope, we don't feel like life will ever get better. When we lose hope, we think we are destined to lives of lack and being unfulfilled. Here's what Martin Luther King said. He said, if you lose hope, somehow you lose the vitality that keeps you going. You lose the courage to be. You lose the quality that helps you go on in spite of things. I believe hope is one of the most powerful aspects of life. It is one of the most powerful attributes that we have because hope keeps us alive. Hope is the thing that helps us survive and to thrive and to succeed and to overcome and to rise above. That if we are hurting and want to experience wholeness and healing, you need to have hope. You know, if we're going through pain and sadness and feeling alone and we want to experience, love and companionship, it needs hope. You know, if we have a good life and want to have an even greater life, it begins with hope. Hope is the beginning of every goal, every dream, every desire to be healed and to overcome and to expand and have a fuller experience of life. You know, sometimes we need to work and reconnect to our hope. But I'll tell you, when you have hope, something amazing happens in us. Something awakens, something arises that just does great things. I remember the first time I heard this song by Elvis Presley, If I Can Dream. I was in my early 20s, and I belonged, remember that Columbia Record Club? That if you buy one album for a penny, you can get, So I signed up. The first thing I got was the Elvis collection. And it was 3 cassette tapes. This is how long ago it was. 3 cassette tapes. And on the third tape, there was this song, If I Can Dream, which is a song I didn't know. I knew Jailhouse Rock and all the regular Elvis stuff. And when I heard this song, it was at a time of despair for myself in my life, where I was struggling, I was feeling hopeless. I was feeling my life would never get better. And listening to this song literally ignited something in me. I didn't know what would happen. And after the song, nothing changed, but something changed in here, because it makes a difference when you find hope. There is something so uplifting, something so joyful, something knowing that something is possible, even if I don't know what it is, something better is there for me. And these words rang true when you feel hope. There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue. Because it's really, this song is a message of hope. For every one of us, hope is in us, and there is hope for something greater and better than what we're experiencing. So today we begin the first week of our annual series called The Songs of Life. And we do that because songs have a way of touching us and inspiring us or bringing peace or upliftment or healing in a way that just the spoken word doesn't. And I bet every one of us has a song that maybe got us through a difficult time, maybe a divorce or a bankruptcy or some challenge, or got us through some painful family experience or gave us hope. And so today we're going to start with If I Can Dream, which was written by Walter Earl Brown in June of 1968. It was actually a tribute to Martin Luther King, who was assassinated 2 months earlier. And many of the words actually in the song are actually absolute words that were used by Martin Luther King. He actually lifted direct quotes. And the song was introduced to Elvis in about November, December of '68 for a comeback special on TV at Christmas time, because he hadn't been performing live for 7 years. He was doing movies, and he was starting to feel unfulfilled with his movies. And so it was his comeback, and they needed a song, and they were going to use a Christmas song. But then the producer said, try this one, If I Can Dream. And they played it, and he said, play it again. They played it, he said, play it again. Play it again. He listened to it 8 or 9 times, and he said, I'll do it. But his condition was he wanted to do it in the dark. And because and the technician said it was the most emotion they ever felt Elvis put into a song. Because he was in an unhappy place. This song gave him hope, and him singing it has given a lot of people hope. I believe there's a lot of power in hope, and that's what we're going to talk about. How do we infuse that in our lives? I want you to think about a question. Why do we need hope? And I would suggest the reason that we need hope is because life can be painful. That life has struggle and disappointments. Life has heartache and hardships. That sometimes we feel devastated and defeated. And it is through those times of feeling powerless and helpless, hope is the most powerful and important thing we can have. Otherwise, we feel overwhelmed and just want to give up. I mean, I like the words when it says we're lost in a cloud with too much rain. We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. So let's look at the message and the power of hope. Here's the first thing I think hope does for us. Number one, the important thing is acknowledges the pain that we're in. Sometimes we want to hide and run from our stuff and our pain, but I think true hope sees and acknowledges what's going on and acknowledges that we're hurting, that we're struggling, that we're going through a difficult time, that we're feeling helpless or powerless. Here are the words that he writes. He said, if I can dream and all that stuff, why isn't it happening to me? Why isn't stuff happening to me? And I'm sure we've all had times where we've seen other people having great relationships and financial success and career success, and we think, how come I'm not having that? And those are some natural, human struggles. I believe pain and disappointment and frustration are a part of the human journey and part of the spiritual journey as well. That I believe it is through the pain, through the disappointment, through how we handle those moments that we really learn and grow and awaken and expand. That I think if you look at any kind of breakthrough in life, that there's some pain involved. For a caterpillar to go to a butterfly, it looks pretty, but it's painful. There's a lot of stuff that happens through there. Having a child is a great thing, but that has a lot of discomfort. There isn't any breakthrough I can think of in life of overcoming or achieving that doesn't require some work and has some pain and difficulty in it. If it was easy, we'd all be lined up in that line. I'd be first. But The fact is, hope sees and acknowledges that we are struggling, that there's pain, and doesn't see it as a mistake or a failure, as wrong or bad, but just an experience in life to teach us, to help us, to lead us and guide us, to move through that process to a greater awakening, to a greater revelation of the truth of who we really are. Second thing that hope does is hope helps us not be overcome and give in by the difficulties and challenges. Because sometimes it's easy to want to give up. Sometimes it's easy to want to stop believing or thinking that this thing will not improve or my life will not find more happiness and joy. But that's one thing I love about hope. It helps us endure. It helps us hang in there. It helps us keep on keeping on. And my favorite word for that is perseverance. And in the same way, anyone who's achieved anything great had to persevere and overcome something, had to overcome probably many things. And so it's important for us to allow hope, to stay alive in us so that we keep moving forward. We keep hanging in there regardless of what the conditions are. Thomas Edison, they say, failed 1,000 times before he developed the electrical filament for life. Could you imagine if he'd given up? Michael Jordan got cut from his basketball team. Imagine if he had given up. Even when conditions aren't going great, we need to have that hope that there is something greater and better. Martin Luther King, he experienced all kinds of resistance and hatred and death threats. He was stabbed. He was thrown in prison, but he didn't give up because he let hope be his guiding light. He allowed himself to just persevere and connect. One of the stories I tell in the Bible a lot, because I find it's like one of the most inspiring, is about the woman who was hemorrhaging for 12 years. And, on that day pressed through the crowd and touched the hem of Jesus' garment, and she was healed. And I always think of that, 12 years, but she didn't give up hope. She wasn't feeling good for 12 years, but on that morning, she had hope, and she was willing to press through that crowd to touch the garment and be healed. We might have failed at 10 times, 20 times. Things may not have gone well in relationships or career or finances, but when you have hope and you don't give up, you always give yourself a chance for yourself to have a breakthrough. How many people remember Zig Ziglar? Anybody remember Zig Ziglar? Okay. It's one of my favorite quotes from Zig. He said, "The only difference between a big shot and a little shot is that a big shot is a little shot that kept shooting." And so that's the truth is, when you feel despair and hope, just keep shooting. Have the hope. So I ask you, is there something in your life that you're about to give up hope and give up on? And I'll tell you, don't. Because you can do all things through God who strengthens you. There is hope in you. It is in your soul. It is in your nature. And it is a part of your journey to keep on keeping on. Next thing about hope that I think is important is it helps reconnect us to our spirit. I really believe when we lose hope, it means that we've lost a greater connection and awareness to our oneness with God, to oneness with that spirit within us. It isn't that God went anywhere. Somebody, once said in that old line, if you feel distant from God, who moved? And the fact is, when we lose our hope, is we feel disconnected. God didn't go anywhere. God's in here everywhere. And so the important thing about regaining our hope is how much time are you connecting with God in the quietness of your heart? Because the more we immerse our hearts and minds in the fullness of the Spirit of God and God's love and peace, guess what? It brings our hope alive. It brings forth more good and more joy and more possibilities. That's why it says, Christ in you, your hope of glory. When you connect with that Spirit of God in you, the kingdom of God in you, it brings forth our hope for glory, for success, for peace, for love, for healing in our families, for fulfillment in our careers. A couple of my favorite scriptures, seek ye first his kingdom and all these things will be added unto you. And it tells you that's it. When you connect to God first, all the hope is there. All the resource you need is there. And my absolute favorite one is from Psalm 37, verse 4. It says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of their heart. I ask you, when was the last time you delighted yourself in the Lord? Sometimes we think prayer is onerous and hard, and we got to do it like eating broccoli. But the truth is, shouldn't it be a joyful experience? I mean, we're connected with the intelligence and the power and the magnificence that created the sun and the stars and the ocean and the mountains and every cell of our bodies. Should that not be a joyous and exciting experience for us to connect and align and quiet ourselves to feel the fullness of that power and that presence and that wisdom within ourselves? And I love that line, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. It kind of means two things. One, when you connect yourself with God, the things you desire will attract to you easier, just like seek ye first. But the other one, it says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. That when you are connecting to God, that God will put in your heart what your soul has called you here to do and be, if you delight yourself. So a powerful thing about hope, it invites you to reconnect with your spirit and open yourself up to the fullness of the glory of God. And the final thing we'll talk about with regard to hope is that hope opens a path for us to dream, to see greater possibilities, to see a greater vision for our lives than what we're experiencing now. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. What that means is that when you can't see some greater possibility than where you are, you know what perishes? Your joy, your energy, your motivation, your creativity, because having a bigger picture to work towards enlivens us. It not only keeps us away from thinking negativity and looking down. You know how many times the Bible says, lift up your eyes? It is to lift up your eyes away from the negativity and see something greater. Because what a great gift we've been given. We can close our outer eye, but with our inner eye, we can see some greater possibility for our life that isn't there. And the power of that vision attracts. The universe is very responsive. And what we put out into the universe will come back to us. So when you put out a vision of love or peace or joy or success or fulfillment or healing, guess what? We will tend to attract more of that. That is the power of vision that we've all been given. And you can use the power to have a vision and think of possibilities anywhere. Remember I told you about that guy, Anthony Ray Hinton, who was imprisoned falsely for 30 years. Even in prison, he had hope. Even in prison, he had a dream and saw the possibility of fulfillment and making a difference there and one day getting out. And even though it took 30 years, the fact is he had a vision of living there fulfilling and helped a lot of inmates, and it made a difference in his life. Viktor Frankl, in a concentration camp, had hope and a vision of one day being able to get out and to share that story to uplift and inspire people. People out of poverty, like Oprah Winfrey. J.K. Rowling had suffered from depression and was on welfare, and she has risen to have success in all those Harry Potter books. I mean, there's so many different opportunities. I mean, Colonel Sanders at 66, he hit it big with his dream and his secret recipe of KFC. You know, Theodore Geisel got rejected 27 times for his book called Cat in the Hat, better known, of course, as Dr. Seuss. These guys persevered. They had dreams of something greater. The conditions don't have to be perfect. In fact, the conditions are often not perfect that allow us the opportunity to see something greater and better in our lives. George Bernard Shaw once said, some people look at the world the way it is and ask why. Others look at the world the way it could be and ask why not. So when you look at your life with your health and your career, your finances, your level of happiness, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, why? Why me? Why this? And could you relook at all those areas and think, why not? Why not radiant health and vitality? Why not loving, nurturing relationships? Why not healing and reconciliation in my family? Why not a fulfilling career? Why not levels of prosperity? Why not feeling a sense of oneness with God? Why not being an inspiration and a teacher to other people? Why not? You know, the thing I love about dreams, it helps make things that have never happened happen. It helps the impossible become possible. With the NCAA just finished, the basketball tournament just finishing, every kid dreams of hitting that last second shot to win the championship game. And there was a young girl named Arike Ogunobowale, and they were down, she plays for Notre Dame, we're down by 1 point with a couple seconds left against UConn, and she hit this rainbow floater for 3 points to win it right at the buzzer. But then at the final, they were tied with a couple seconds left, and she hit a rainbow three-pointer to win it again. Most people dream about it once, never get it. She did it twice, 2 games in a row. Also, her hero was Kobe Bryant. Because she hit that thing, Kobe texted her. She loved Kobe so much, her dog's name is Kobe. She went on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and she was on it celebrating this great achievement, and Ellen brought Kobe Bryant on the show, and she met Kobe Bryant, and Kobe gave her 2 Lakers sweaters of his, one for her and a small one for her dog, Kobe. Dreams make amazing things happen that have never happened before, so what are you dreaming? What is your impossible dream? What is the thing that you want to put out there into the universe to attract and create things that have never happened before? 3 things I want you to remember about dreams. Number 1, you don't need to know the how. Just hold the vision. Hold a space for it. Don't get too caught up in the details. You'll be inspired to what to do when you need to do it, but don't overthink it. Just hold the vision. You don't need to know how. The second one is I believe every goal and every vision and dream of something greater is good, even if it doesn't happen fully. Martin Luther King's dream has not fulfilled itself fully. But was that a wasted dream? I think not. And all the dreams that we have in all the various ways do good in bring more, infuse more light into the world. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the third thing is that dreams are for us, but it's also for us to have a dream for our world, dream for our country, dream for our human family and brothers and sisters. Here's what it says in the song. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand. If I can dream of a warmer sun where hope keeps shining for everyone. And my question is, what is your hope for this world? What is your hope and dream for this community, for this country, and for this ministry? One of the visions I have for this ministry is that we live our words, that we honor all, we welcome all people and honor all paths to God. That Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center will become a landmark in this city and this greater community. It will be a presence where everybody knows that people are welcome here. That not only do we do great ministry, but we welcome other faiths and religions like the Baha'i faith that we've had. We've got a Hindu wedding coming up, Native American things, where everybody knows that we do honor all paths. We celebrate that we are a true spiritual community. That we do amazing things here and touch lives. And people come here even if they don't go to church here because they know such great things are happening here that we celebrate all people. This year the Toronto Raptors are going to win the NBA championship. They will be the first Canadian team to win the NBA championship. I just want you to know that. If I can dream, why not? One of my favorite things is at the end it says, if I can sing, while I can talk, while I can stand, while I can walk, while I can dream, let my dreams come true right now. Do you know the reason that we're here? We are creators, and we are here to create and bring more light into the world, more love into the world, more joy and more possibilities. And the way to do it is to dream. It's to hold a vision of something greater, something better that will lead us and attract us and manifest for us. So what do you want to create? What do you want to build? What are the things you want to manifest and experience? Open your eyes, lift up your eyes, and let the power of the gift of imagination transform you and transform our community and our world. Jesus said, you shall do great things. And I'll tell you, the 2 things that we can do greater things with is with hope and the power to dream. God bless you all.